Hi girls, are you ready for some art fun?
Yeah!
Okay, today we're going to do some paper mache. Now our number one rule with paper mache, is that we are not going to be messy. Because moms and dads and families at home right now do not want a big mess in their house. So number one rule is we are going to do this neatly. So the first thing that you're going to need is newspaper. So my daughter and my niece have been cutting out pieces of newspaper to get ready. Now, this is where you have a choice. You can either just cut out regular newspaper pieces, or if you want to, you can make your paper mache project kind of about what's happening with the coronavirus in the world today. So they cut out some words that kind of had something to do with the coronavirus, like health, or
Positivity.
or like a positive rainbow that they found in one of the newspapers. What else did you guys find?
Stressed business owner.
Stressed
Ask
business
a nurse.
owner. Ask a nurse. What else? A couple more
We have the
examples.
most important one, which is to stick together.
Great job. Good job, girls. The next thing you need to have is you're going to need to get some flour. Regular old flour. Make sure that you get help from an adult so it doesn't spill all over the place.
Remember to keep this as neat as possible.
And then the next thing you're going to need is some warm water. So I have some warm water here. Now, how much do you need? Well, I did 2 cups of flour, and I'm doing 4 cups of warm water. And then the last thing you need is a teaspoon of salt. But since we're doing like a double batch, it's 2 teaspoons. So I have two teaspoons of salt in here. Okay, and then I have a whisk to whisk it all together, but you can just use a spoon for that. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this together. All right, so you don't wanna dump all the water in all at once because then it might be too wet and then you can't go back. You have to add more flour. So just add only a little bit of water at a time, like maybe a cup. And then stir it together carefully. That was way too thick, so I'm gonna add some more water. Okay, it's starting to get there. That's really clumpy on there. Add some more water. So now I can really get it starting to stir up here. Okay, now you wanna try to whisk all the clumps out, if possible. So now it's about this kind of consistency. So I would say it's a little bit thinner than like a pancake batter, I would say. Okay, and then you want to add the important part, which is the salt. So I'm gonna put the salt in there. Now the salt is important because it helps preserve your paper mache and then it will last longer. All right. So the next step is to ask your family for an empty bottle. And we happen to have these 2 sparkling cider bottles that we had at the house. So we washed them and they're ready to go. And we are going to be putting our paper mache onto the bottle. What you do is you take first of all, push your sleeves up past your elbows. And then you're going to take your piece of paper and you dip it into the paper mache and you kind of just squeeze off the extra. Just like that. And then you're just gonna put it on top of your bottle. And smooth it all out like that. All right, let me take one of these words that we had here. And wrap that around the bottle. It's okay if the surface of your bottle is kind of goopy. Just make sure you smooth it out. It's going to have a little bit of kind of a thick kind of texture to it. That's okay. When the bottle dries, right. So that goes away. Starting to paper mache their bottles. And notice how Peyton dips her paper in there, but then she kind of just spreads it around, squeezes off the extra. Good job, Peyton. And let's see how Grace is doing. Grace is taking her paper. Okay, she's putting it onto her cider bottle. So Peyton, did you decide to do just random newspaper, or are you going to do one that's like about the virus thing?
Well, I kind of like a mix between both because I think that it's important to spread awareness about the virus, but also to have a little bit of fun and just do whatever I want with this.
Okay, so here's an update on our project, and Peyton's bottle's coming along nicely. And what you want to be sure you're doing is you want to make sure that any place that's kind of sticking up, that you kind of smooth it down. Because when it dries, that'll just be like a hard bump sticking up on your bottle. So make sure you're really smoothing everything out. Okay, and Grace's looks really good over there. Let's zoom in on hers. Great. Now the girls were asking, well, what about all this kind of white stuff on the outside? Will that go away? And yes, when it dries, that will go away. Okay, we'll check back.
Because we need to be washing our hands and keeping clean during this outbreak. Remember to sanitize!
Okay, so here's our 2 paper mache bottles drying overnight, and then we'll check them out tomorrow. Okay, so here are the girls, and they're going to come and check on their paper mache bottles from last night. How did they turn out, girls?
So cool.
Oh, they're so cool. Let's see. Wow. I think it would have been cool if you had done like more of the headline stuff and make it like a Corona bottle. But I understand it could be depressing to do that. So, but it looks really awesome. And let's see yours. Super cool. So it could be kind of like a time capsule, like a bottle that shows the history of what's going on right now, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you girls did an excellent job. So see you later.